So, as you know, this year in my fact based streaming, I'm covering old school tabletop role playing games, and people seem to really enjoy them. But I'm also going to start doing members only streams, and I'll be doing those on Wednesdays, at least 2 Wednesdays every month. The first members only stream ever will be on May 20th. Now, here's a little lean into what I'm doing for those streams. Well, first, any request that members have for those streams, I'll be open to. But beyond that, I'll be covering some what you might call games from the year 2000 and beyond. And the first game I'm going to cover on May 20th for members only is Savage Worlds. Now, I want to go into a personal statement, something separate from updating you on the members only streams, which is going to be like new school if I'm not taking on a request. Look, there's moments where people that don't like me in a certain echo chamber online like to try to take me down. It's never going to work, but I got to tell people how people behave to me in moments when they think I'm down really matters to me. If you're fair with me and you're good to me when you think I'm having a down moment, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. You'll be paid off in the long run for that. On the other hand, if you take that moment to kick dirt in my face when I am down, well, trust me, I won't stay down, so get that out of your head right now. But I will hold that over your head for the rest of your life. You will be a person that will never get another chance. I will never forgive you personally. Now, I can look past what you did. I can, choose to not attack you. I don't do stuff like that to begin with. So I would leave you alone. But the door will never be open. I will hold that over your head forever. And no matter what, you will think I'm down for the count, but you'll notice later I'm completely fine. And that your action or actions or your words were a waste of time. I won't give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. See, it's just so important to me. I only have so much time in life, and I'm just not going to waste it on people that make really bad decisions in that moment. And there's a lot of you out here that think you can behave badly and then be forgiven later. Well, I want to make it clear that with me, that will not happen. I will never forget you or what you've done if you tried to kick dirt in my face. Look, I know I'm going to be okay, but I know what kind of human being you are. That's what it tells me. And you're not someone I would ever waste my time on. Do I sound bitter when I talk about these kinds of people? Damn right. Damn right I can feel that way about them. No doubt. And I want to make sure that they know what they've done will never be forgiven and they'll never be rewarded on any level, right, once they have made that choice. Now, this is going to shock some people, because I'm talking about not forgiving people. Look, I can forgive to a certain degree, but I'll never forget, and there'll never be an open door again. Just that's how I am. I'm not your soft kind of person. I'll say this. I'm going to say something. It's a big change in my life, but I don't want to say I'm just purely this. I'm learning. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Period. I'm a Christian. I'm not perfect. I'm not without sin. Nothing like that. And I would say I'm in the learning process. I am in the learning process. I'm not fully there, but I accept. I completely accept. So there. I'm not just agnostic anymore. It's taken me a bit to really make this decision. And look, I really looked into that being and had to make a decision. Is this something that I believe in? A person, a being I believe in? Yes. Now, I'm not saying that to gain favor with anyone, but I just don't want to sound like a hypocrite. Like I have my issues. When it comes to forgiveness, I have my issues. On some things, that probably won't exactly change, but I'm changing, right? I'm changing for the better. There is no doubt about it. It just is where I'm at in life. People might think, oh, you're just saying that now because something has happened to you recently. Well, no, I want you to pay attention. Have you noticed that I stopped responding to drama months ago now? That I stopped being negative towards individual people? Like I just let it go on that level? That is really when I started my journey. And it took me a while, and then I finally came out and told people I'm no longer an atheist. It's again before anything recent happened. But I'm in a learning process now. Look, I know one thing is you don't have to tell everyone every detail about what you're doing or exactly how you see things. So I'm not going to tell you everything. I say things in steps so people can understand where I'm at, right? Because I don't want the public to keep thinking I'm something I'm not. So it's not like I want to let you in on everything, but I want to make sure that any past statements, my actions from the past, I want to clear it up, and I don't want people to be confused. I know for some, this is going to turn some people off that might not believe in that way, and I want to tell you right now, this YouTube channel is not about focusing on that topic, right? It's a personal statement from me that I want to be able to make once and then move on. It is not about turning this channel into something about politics or religion. Like, I know that's not what this is about. My channel is about tabletop role-playing games and the occasional personal video, but I don't want that to be the main aim. I guess you could somewhat use a term like I'm a tabletop role-playing game YouTuber. I don't like the statement dungeon tuber. I don't like that. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm a certain kind of Christian all of a sudden. Look, I'm studying Jesus. That's it. That's the person I'm following here. And I don't want to take on a label. I don't want to say I disagree or agree with other Christians. Nothing like that. I'm simply on board with Jesus. I don't want to mention politics really because I don't really believe politics should have a place in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. I think something like that is you leave that at the door, right? To me, mentioning to you what I believe on the religious end or towards Jesus is only to say that's going to affect my mindset going forward. Of course. I mean, I can't get around that. But politics, I think it's something we can leave at the door because you can play a game with other people who you don't agree with, and these issues should not be a wall between you. I hope the few members I have really look forward to me talking about Savage Worlds. I figure it's a way to really give them some content where it's about a tabletop role-playing game, and it's way ahead of schedule, right? I will cover it differently next year, but this year I figure I can do some games that aren't just going to be games I'm just doing in public streams, right? And I want to pick out games that I know my members are going to be happy with. And I know one game, obviously, my members would be pleased to hear about is Savage Worlds. For a certain member out there, I know they'll be looking forward to this. I'm going to cover a game called Fudge at one point in one of the member-only streams, right? So that should be fun. Hey, Craig. And I want the members to know that they can make requests. They really can. I'm very open, and I'm open to say yes to just about anything, within reason, of course, within reason. Now, I understand the entire announcement from the games I'm covering to the members-only gimmick to my personal change in life. It might push a couple people away in my audience. I hope it doesn't. I really do. I hope they know that I would never use this in a negative sense towards them. I don't care what you believe or what you don't believe. I'm not here to preach a sudden belief onto you. I'm not that. I don't preach. I'm not going to be preaching anytime soon. And I'm not going to choose to judge you for how you live, right? I have control over my own life. That's as far as it goes. Okay. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.